All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Alota Sarcasm. Thanks so much for joining us here at the Battle of the All-Stars 2019. All right, so up next we've got Maryland taking on Saskatchewan. I wasn't here yesterday, but it also sounds like a lot of Saskatchewan wasn't here yesterday. We're going to do a rundown of the rosters at our earliest break, but right now we are in with the action. I'm trying to catch myself up here. No lie, I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't just miss that whistle here. We've got Gypsy Joe wearing the star for Saskatchewan. Out in front, picking up lead jammer, Privilege. We've got a first star pass there on the Maryland side of things. Gypsy Joe in the midst of the pack there. Pushing her way through, picking up 4 points before calling it off. So first points on the board going to Saskatchewan and Gypsy Joe. So yeah, as I was saying, Saskatchewan ran into a series of flight problems yesterday. Delays, cancellations, lost luggage. So they had to kind of fill their roster with a couple of guest skaters yesterday. But everyone who's supposed to be here is here for the weekend. So we're good to go on that. Know that we're coming into the last couple of seconds before this jam's going to start. Oh, we're actually in a timeout. So then I'm going to go ahead and introduce. I'm not. You know, this is just not my game. All right, the whistle is off. We've got Maryland out first. That is number 4, General Chaos. In the midst of scoring right now, and that is number 21 for Saskatchewan with the star in hand, Pterodactyl. Pterodactyl being knocked to the outside on the backstretch, well into turn 2. In the meantime, General Chaos through, picking up 4 points for Maryland. They're currently standing at 8 points. Maryland through for an additional 4 points. Yeah, looks like there was a potential for a call off there from Maryland, but with Pterodactyl completing an initial just now, General Chaos is continuing with the points. Getting knocked to the outside of turn 4, picking up the last 3 points. That'll put a total of 15 points.
Okay, so how's it going?
It's going. It's good to have a second voice. All of a sudden, it was like game time, and yeah.
So, Kent the politician, who was on the prior call, stepping in.
Thanks so much. We're going to go down the rosters at some point.
Okay, so we haven't done that? Okay,
nope.
Great. All right, so we're underway, 15-8 in favor of the Marylands, who are wearing red, taking on the entire province of Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan wearing green. Tiger with the hit out on, I think that was Nikki Fury, number 33. So Fatal Faux Pas is our jammer for Maryland, taking on Nikki Fury. Again, Maryland in red. Oh, power jam, Fatal Faux Pas goes to the penalty box. So Nikki Fury, who was a day 1 MVP for Saskatchewan, has a power jam opportunity.
Yeah, that'll be the first power jam given up by either team. So Nikki Fury there in the backstretch, in the midst of the pack, looking to find just an opportunity to make her way through, going to get recycled to the back of the pack. Maryland blockers definitely in the back waiting for her there. And we've got Fatal Faux Pas out of the penalty box, takes it to the outside of the backstretch, and meets up with Saskatchewan blockers in turn 3 rather.
Marv goes to the penalty box. I grabbed the wrong roster.
And of course, as you say that, Nikki Fury takes lead gen status
All right, Nikki Fury completed an initial pass. We've got Fatal Faux Pas completing an initial pass as well. 4 points on the board for Nikki Fury.
Shout out to Brent in Dog River. Thanks for being a great fan of the roller derby. Hope you're enjoying this weekend.
The Fatal Faux Pas coming up into a solid Saskatchewan wall there in turn 1. Making our way through for 4 points.
All right, so it looks like that jam is going to go 6-4 in favor of Saskatchewan. So 19 for Maryland, 14 for Saskatchewan.
All right, so we're going to go and run down the Saskatchewan roster pretty quick here. 11-11, Gypsy Joe. Number 114, Bashan Bindi. Number 1474, Cakes. 15, Scott Free. Number 20, Fish. 21, Pterodactyl. 22, Shell on Earth. Number 33, Nikki Fury. Number 40, Nemesis. 476, Bellicose Blonde. 519, Malkery. Number 64, Attica Flinch. Number 69, Terralizer. Number 8, Dame Tamer. Number 99, Like Seriously. And they are being coached today by Vic Vega. Gypsy Joe wearing the star for Saskatchewan.
Quesadiva is the jammer for Maryland. Quesadiva is through and is lead jammer. Gypsy Joe right on her tail. Both jammers now harvesting points for both teams. 4 on the board for both teams.
And then that pack that they're approaching there in turn 3. Really kind of mixed up, no solid wall formation, which works to the advantage of both of these jammers. We're kind of looking at each other, really kind of smiling and enjoying this foot race that they've been engaged in basically since they both broke out of the pack. So it looks like a match point-wise, 8-8 for each team. Maryland All-Stars 27, Saskatchewan 22, 14 minutes left to go. We've got Maryland taking the front.
Pterodactyl jamming for Saskatchewan, pretty sure. Yes, it is. And Pterodactyl is through and is the lead jammer for Saskatchewan. Jamming for Maryland is General Chaos. General Chaos is through also. Saskatchewan loses a blocker, so it is 3-on-3 in the pack.
Both jammers engaged in the pack right now, being knocked out and recycled. Looks like that'll be called off by Pterodactyl. 3 additional points on the board for Saskatchewan. That'll bring them to 25. Maryland All-Stars held scoreless at 27, 13 minutes left.
Team Maryland, that is the MVP of the first game Maryland played. And going Roxy Dangerfield. 2-point lead here.
Rexy Dangerfield jamming for Maryland, we believe. 27-25, only a 2-point lead for Maryland. Rexy ducks on the inside, comes through on the outside, and she is your lead jammer. That is Nikki Fury jamming for Saskatchewan. Nikki gets through. 2 Saskatchewan blockers in the box, so it's 4-on-2 pack advantage. Rexy got into the pack and called it off, but held scoreless.
All right, so another 0-0 jam here. Haven't seen that since the first one.
Shout out to Lacey in Dog River, working at the rugby, at the Ruby today.
202 from Maryland.
That's tremendous.
All right.
2-point bout. That's Tiger very quickly out in front. Tiger skates for Charm City and is a lead jammer for Maryland. That is Gypsy Joe for Saskatchewan. Tiger able to make her way through the pack. Low center of gravity, very strong athlete, Tiger.
We've got Gypsy Joe with a star stash, but sees an opening on the outside of turn 2, takes it to put that star back on. That completes an initial for Saskatchewan.
Tiger gets through on the inside of the back straightaway, so 8 points total. So she goes 8-0 in favor of Maryland. Yep, additional points go up on the board now, so now the margin is 10.
Pterodactyl for Saskatchewan.
Good eye. I can't get that from here. General Chaos for Maryland. Both teams at full strength. General Chaos comes through the pack. Track cut Maryland will lose a blocker.
Tara working to push her way through the middle there. Picks up her initial pass.
Brutylicious is the Maryland skater who's in the box.
General Chaos with 4 points on the board for Maryland. Pterodactyl taking it to the outside of turn 2. 4 points on the board, answered by Saskatchewan.
Multiplayer block, Saskatchewan loses a blocker and General Chaos calls it off. So like Seriously of Saskatchewan will go to the box. So this jam will start as 3-3.
All right, 5-second call there. Quesadiva for Maryland wearing the star. And that looks like Nikki Fury for Saskatchewan. Quesadiva working that braced wall there from Saskatchewan up front. Maryland blockers able to make their way around that mess, taking the front once again.
Rexy Dangerfield in the box, so 3-on-3 in the pack. Saskatchewan blocker, like Seriously, about ready to return. Nikki Fury comes through. Nikki Fury is the lead jammer. Quesadiva escapes the pack, so now it is a sprint for points. Nikki Fury about a half track in the lead. You see her coming into the pack right now. Quesadiva following up. So Nikki Fury gets knocked out, that by Marvy Lust.
Looks like Quesadiva also being knocked to the outside of turn 3. Backed up into the backstretch while Nikki Fury threw for 4 points. Quesadiva trying to take it to the outside of turn 4, being knocked out and recycled into about turn 3 while Nikki Fury is looking to complete another scoring pass for Saskatchewan.
Quesadiva is taken off her skates, but made a gesture to call off the jam. But she is not the lead jammer. It is Nikki Fury. So Quesadiva.
It looks like, yeah, might have had like a skate problem, something on her wheel, something along those lines, maybe some tape caught up from the track.
Yeah, but then gets back out there. So, yeah, it looked like it was a rough hit. Then it looked like an equipment problem. Then it looked like everything was fine. So, that's perfect. That's a normal derby play.
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like the way that's going to shake out is Quesadiva was able to put 4 points on the board. That'll bring Maryland to 47. A total of 7 points put up by Nikki Fury, bringing Saskatchewan to 36, 7.5 minutes left.
So it'll be Gypsy Joe, who I'm pretty sure didn't play yesterday. Again, Saskatchewan had some challenges with getting all their players here. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Gypsy Joe was one of the skaters who was not on the track on Thursday for Saskatchewan.
I believe you are correct. Yeah, anyone who's going to be here from Saskatchewan is here now.
Okay, good.
All their equipment, all the skaters.
Yeah, again, it was Wednesday was a very rough travel day, and considering the distance you came from for Saskatchewan, not all Thursday arrivals showed up on Thursday. Or actually, not all Wednesday arrivals showed up on Wednesday.
Gypsy Joe taking a hard fall there in turn 2. Back up, looking to complete an additional scoring pass with 4 points already on the board. Fatal faux pas completed an initial. Gypsy Joe is going to call it off after picking up another 3.
So it looks like Saskatchewan, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Aloda, looks like Saskatchewan going with a 3-jammer rotation. Maryland's jammer rotation much wider. Fatal faux pas, Quesadiva, General Chaos, Rexy, Dangerfield, Tiger, the 4 that I've seen.
I'm not going to correct you because you're absolutely right, and that's no surprise to me.
Oh, well. You're very kind. And occasionally, yeah, you didn't hear my 9 a.m. call on the venue.
Oh, no.
We made a lot of mistakes. Let's just start with, I for some reason I thought today was Wednesday.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know where that came from. When it came out of my mouth, I'm like, it's Friday. And there's no Wednesday involved in this. Anyway, it is 6 minutes, 15 seconds involved. We have a team timeout taken by Maryland. Maryland only up by 4 points. It has been close early on. The margin was 2 points at about the 11-minute mark, as we are now at 6:15. Again, the bouts on Thursday and Friday, by the way, it's Friday, not Wednesday.
Excellent. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, 40 minutes in length, so 2 20-minute halves. I will probably sub out at halftime.
Okay.
And we will put someone a little more familiar with Maryland on the mic. So all you Maryland fans that are blowing up the internet, tomfoolery is coming. He's just not here at the moment.
All right.
Track cut by Pterodactyl. So it is a power jam opportunity for General Chaos of the Marylands. Maryland leading by 4 points before this power jam began. Under 6 minutes to play in the first half.
With a little bit of a flourishy twirl there on the inside of turn 1. Chaos is through for 4 points.
Yes, it was definitely twirly and furious. Or flurious. What did you say?
Yes.
Both of those. But yeah, points on the board. General Chaos with 8 so far. Pterodactyl now out of the box. One Maryland skater still in the penalty box. Pterodactyl able to complete the initial pass. So we've got a minute left on the jam clock, depending on how long General Chaos wants to run this.
And you know what? She's not going to run it at all. Calling it off after picking up, it looks like an additional 3 points. That'll be a total of 11 on the board this time. Maryland All-Stars 58. Saskatchewan held scoreless there at 43. Just under 5 minutes left.
Hello to the fans watching from Woolerton, which is next to East Woolerton, of course.
And south of North Woolerton?
Exactly. You've
Cool.
seen that map.
Yes.
4 minutes, 40 seconds. That is Nikki Fury jamming for Saskatchewan, which is nowhere near Woolerton, by the way. It's a whole different nation. And that is Rexy Dangerfield, who skates for Charm in her other life. Marvy Lust, who also skates for Charm, goes to the box. So Maryland down a blocker. Nikki Fury pushed out by, among others. Oh, I have no idea.
Nikki Fury's got one of her blockers up there, Terrorizer, offering a little bit of support when she can, but also just looking to bridge her defense back. Who's been able to knock Rexy out of bounds in turn 1 and then recycled to the front stretch there.
All right, so now I know why I didn't know. So on our roster, we had D. Wall listed as number 2. She's number 12. I saw number 12 make the hit. Number 12 didn't exist on my roster, so I want to give proper love to D. Wall for her defense against Nikki Fury.
Nikki Fury is going to go down there in turn 3. Back up, calling it off just as Rexy comes around. Looking to put some points on the board. Maryland held scoreless. And just waiting for Nikki's points to come up. That looks like 3 for Saskatchewan. That'll bring them to 46. Maryland at 58. 3 minutes, 10 seconds left to go in the first half.
Maryland with a 12-point advantage. This is one of the closer bouts we've had so far.
Gypsy Joe wearing the star again for Saskatchewan. Taking on Fatal Faux Pas. Gypsy Joe pushing forward, making her way through those last couple of blockers there for Maryland in turn 2, picking up lead. Gypsy Joe coming around into turn 2. Almost seems like she kind of misjudged how that turn was.
Yeah, again, we've got 2 different colors of tape on the floor, and I think occasionally some skaters are looking at the red line and they need to be looking at the white and black line. And again, you can see that on your screen. But however it happened, it is a power jam for Gypsy Joe and Saskatchewan.
And Gypsy Joe makes quick, easy work of turn 3.
Yeah.
Feel like everyone forgot there was, in fact, a jammer on the track.
Yeah. It's like the pack, realized there's a food truck and they all looked out that door.
It is the end of the building. Yeah, you're right. So Gypsy Joe has got 8 points on the board so far, coming in for another 4.
Yeah, so we're under 2 minutes to play in the first half, and with that pass, we are tied up. Tiger going to the box. She's been there at least one other time. You only get 5 penalties in 40-minute bouts. But yeah, we are tied up here at the inline 309.
Gypsy comes in pretty strong there in turn 1.
Oh, did I say we're tied up? Because it's no longer tied.
Oh, and just like that.
Saskatchewan takes the lead. The Canadian dollar has rebounded here at the inline 309.
That 16-point jam from Gypsy Joe, who was not here yesterday, that is the highest scoring jam so far.
Nicely done. Look at that. A load of sarcasm dropping the facts.
When I can. All right, so it looks like we've got an official review from Maryland. Kind of leaning towards it's probably got something to do with what we saw here in turn 1, between turns 1 and 2 when Gypsy Joe came in pretty hard, pretty fast there. Yeah, so I'm wondering if they're going to look for a back block in this case.
Well, Tiger is leaving, so, yeah, this official review may have to do with a penalty on Tiger that has led to her removal from the contest. Obviously, we will find that out. Tell you what, if we can't figure that out in the remaining 54 seconds, we'll figure it out during halftime.
Yeah.
And we'll come back and tell you all, our lovely Derby watchers, what exactly is going on. So, but yeah, we have the extended huddle going on right now between referees and teams and coaches.
And so just a quick recap, as much for myself since I wasn't here yesterday, but Maryland is coming into this game after a loss yesterday to Tennessee in Game 6. And Saskatchewan, who had kind of a hodgepodge mix of folks who could help out on their roster yesterday, they're coming into today after a loss to Louisiana in Game 1, first thing of the day.
Yeah, Saskatchewan, so Louisiana beats Saskatchewan 273 to 131. And yeah, the Tennessee result over Maryland was a bit of a surprise, but I saw Tennessee earlier in the day, and they looked really strong. I mean, they looked like they had been practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, they were just there. The blocking was better. The jammers were very talented. So
that's just how it shook out.
yeah, so Tennessee beat Kentucky, and then Tennessee beat Maryland yesterday. And so that was the similar to Montana.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because normally what we've often seen is as the lower seed matchups occur, obviously somebody wins, somebody loses. And then normally the team that wins, that plays the higher seeded team, has a good first 10 minutes, and then they start to get worn out, and the higher seeded team starts to energize and figure out, just knocks the cobwebs off. But normally that lower seeded team that's playing twice in the same day doesn't prevail.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we saw it happen twice yesterday, where Tennessee, while they were higher seeded than Kentucky, they won. But then as they matched up against Maryland, Tennessee, on the strength of physically they're a very big team. They just I remember them being just very tall, very solid, good skate skills. Just kind of tremendous derby athletes. But their size was impressive. Maryland's just not as tall as Tennessee. Now, height doesn't matter a huge amount in roller derby, but if you got a tall, solid team that can skate well, you're going to be pretty formidable. And that was also, quite frankly, what Montana looked like, especially against Ohio. As I was calling that bout, Ohio was just a little smaller. Anyway, but both of those teams, yesterday, Montana with the win, and then the Game 2 matchup against Virginia, Montana ends up prevailing, and Tennessee. Again, kind of breaking the mold of you can't win 2 games in a row, especially when the second game's against a higher seeded team.
Here we are.
Oh, we've got a report,
Yeah.
So hang on just a second.
All right, so we're going to get that information for you. Looks like we should get that before we head into halftime. I can tell you, though, what I do know right now is that we've got 2 blockers for Maryland sitting in the penalty box, and Gypsy Joe is sitting in the penalty box as well.
So yeah, Maryland asked for a back block penalty against Nikki Fury. Against Gypsy Joe, and they prevailed in that, and so the jammer penalty is granted. And I need to correct the record regarding Tiger. Tiger just fouled out.
Okay.
5 penalties, not an expulsion, not a hit that merited removal, but 5 trips to the box in the first 18 minutes of roller derby action.
Wow.
And Tiger's talented. So Maryland will be down a key because Tiger had jammed and was playing in their line. At any rate, now we're in the final jam of the first half. We should really get you caught up on that.
Yeah, and I mean, considering the fact Gypsy Joe started in the penalty box, got out, made quick work of the pack, picked up lead, and we're going to go into halftime with 4 points put on the board by Joe for Saskatchewan, bringing them to 66. They have taken the lead now. They held Maryland scoreless in that last jam. They're at 58, and we'll see you back in about 7 minutes.
feel so free, just believe we can come alive. We're so far from the ground, but I'm not looking down. Feel the warmth of the breeze rushing over me. Now we're soaring high, reach and touch the sky. We can fly, touch the sky, feel alive. We can
All right, welcome back to Battle of the All-Stars 2019. I'm Tom Fuller. With me is a load of sarcasm. We're sitting here with Maryland taking on Saskatchewan second half. We didn't get to run down the rosters the first half for Maryland, so let's run them down real quick. Number 7, Duke of Windsor, 138, Gourley Girl. Number 2, D-Wall, 202, Tiger, 215, Philadelphia, 22, Lucretia McEvil, 22, Major, 24, Bourbon Bruiser, 2517, Tarantina, 29, Quesadiva, 311, Sakam Joea, 315, Killer Chris. Number 4, General Chaos, 410, Fatal Faux Pas, 402, Rexy Dangerfield, 616, Brutylicious. Number 7, Marvy Lust, 75, Robo Chop, 88, Poison Princess, 18, Alcoholic Rage, 326, Fatal Distraction, 44 Princess Leia, and 814 Bang Bang.
All right, thanks so much, Tom. I appreciate that.
All
So
right.
I was going to say we've got a slight pack advantage going to Maryland. We've got one Saskatchewan blocker in the box.
Yeah, and that was quite an end to the half. Taking that penalty late, getting the opportunity, Saskatchewan capitalized, jumped out to a lead now of 8 points, and looking to build upon it as they're driving to the front of the pack. Marvelous with a big hit there on the inside.
But it looks like Joe is out for Saskatchewan. Joe with that big last jam there. 16 points picked up in the last jam before we headed into the half, the highest scoring jam so far. Joe's coming around on a scoring pass, taking it to the outside of turn 2. Is going to get knocked to the outside and recycled back.
Oh, big hit at the end, and we have a skater down right now. Looks like that's Bourbon Bruiser down on the backside of the track. Looks like the EMTs are able to get out onto the track. They're taking a look at her now. The skaters are skating off back to their benches. As always, times like this, we want to thank the EMTs for being here. It's been a good weekend so far. We haven't really seen too many things where we had to have many concerns. Hopefully this is nothing major.
So we had Saskatchewan, just to kind of give a little bit of backstory there from the first half if you're just tuning in. The Saskatchewan put first points on the board, 4 points in that very first jam, holding Maryland scoreless. And then General Chaos came back with a big 15-point jam to put Maryland on the board. And basically, Maryland held that lead from that second jam all the way into jam 14, I believe. And that's when Joe from Saskatchewan just kind of like came in with that big 16-point jam and turned the tides of things.
The penalty actually, which gave the power jam, was huge, and they actually capitalized on it. And it seemed like the Saskatchewan defense started to solidify. It also kind of worked with that offense, too, because you notice they were able to kind of separate that Maryland team. Maryland in the past was always known for locking up and really grinding a game down. Well, so far, Saskatchewan looks like they've been able to keep them separated, get a little space, so maybe only taking on a 2 wall instead of like a solid 3 or 4.
Yep.
It's been very solid. Saskatchewan last year was one of the most entertaining teams because they have such a positive energy. They were so happy to be here. Unfortunately, they did not win a game last year, but honestly, they became a fan favorite because they were singing, smiling, having a blast all year.
Yep.
And coming down from Saskatchewan, I mean, come on, that's not like, oh, hey, they just hopped on a little train and hopped here. No,
Sure.
they came down here with a crew and enjoying the balmy weather, which is like 30 degrees.
It's all relative. It's all relative.
And if you're just tuning in, we have a skater down on the backside of the track. EMTs are taking a look at the skater, making sure everything's okay. So, yes, Maryland got here. They unfortunately took the loss on day 1. They went down. It was a tough game. Pretty much had Tennessee come up, who actually had an upset, took that upset, and just ran with it. They're feeling good. They came in, had a good game earlier in the day. Then they took on Maryland, took them down. So Maryland kind of last night had to go back, lick a little bit of the wounds, try to regroup. Looked like they were starting to focus on getting back to just keeping things simple, not trying to do too much. And Saskatchewan, you know, they haven't pulled out a win yet, but it looks like they're eyeing one up right now.
Yeah, and you know, when you consider the fact that yesterday they were skating, I think I heard with just 4 of their own.
Yeah, so
due to a lot of flight problems, and now this is their team. This is their people. They know who they're skating with. They're familiar with themselves, and you know, kind of play patterns.
So a great thing what happened is the local league, Bucksmont, they supplied some skaters for them and got them into the game. And you know what? They still were having fun, and that was the amazing part. There wasn't a ton of them here, but they all were still having a blast. They made friends. They're high-fiving all the new skaters that were skating with them from Bucksmont. And it was funny seeing all the Bucksmont skaters truly, really appreciating it. They seem to have bigger smiles than our Canadian friends did, which was pretty awesome. And, you know, them helping out the team was awesome, but then the best part about it is they've been helping us out all weekend. They've been volunteering, hosting this event. Imagine 6 years in a row.
Wow.
I was here the first year we did this. I could not have imagined it continued on like this, and that it grew. Now we have teams from all over the country coming. It was kind of regional the first year, but now California, Saskatchewan, Texas, Montana. I saw Montana, Alyssa. I couldn't tell. I didn't know many leagues in Montana, and I have now learned a lot after this weekend.
I believe it. I believe it.
And speaking of Montana, they had, right off the bat, upset. Came the next game, upset again. They have definitely came to play. I drove through Montana one time, but that's all I remember. I remember it was one of the longest states I ever had to drive through. But you know what? They can play some roller derby. I didn't know they could. They can definitely play some roller derby. They proved that this weekend.
Good to know. Yeah, I feel like in playoff situations, we end up so caught up in these teams from away, you know, an Australian team, a New Zealand team, that, you know, we don't get to see a lot. And then they come up and they blow everyone away. And I feel like Montana is definitely one of those teams here at BOTAS this year.
Okay, just an update. It looks like that was Bourbon Bruiser down on the backside. She's up and walking off with the EMTs right now. So we're going to have a little bit more time to get things back and ready to play. But she is up. She is walking. That is a good sign. I'm glad to see that. Bourbon, one of the captains for Team Maryland this year. She's been on team several years, but was voted captain this year. Always very bubbly, very positive, great person, great individual. One of those lovely characters that we have in this sport that we love here, roller derby. That's what makes it interesting, is that you get to talk to some of these people and get to see them show their personality on the track. And I think that's further exemplified by this tournament, where you have a collection of all these different leagues coming together, putting a team together, and figuring out how to make it work.
Yep. And, you know, just as a point of reference here, the skater there,
Bourbon
Bruiser, yeah, actually walked back to her bench. So it looks like she's going to be sitting with her team for the remainder of this time here, not kind of bypassing to go straight to the EMT area and sitting there. Those EMTs walked her back to her bench, kind of surrounded by her teammates right now.
Yeah, she's sitting on the bench. Everybody's kind of, you know, checking on her, but that's a great sign. It gives a positive feel to the team. You don't want to have a dark cloud. So even though we had the EMTs come out, it looks like it's nothing major at this point. That's a positive sign. Let's keep that all weekend long. Like I said, we want to thank the EMTs for doing this, as well as all the other volunteers helping put this on all weekend.
All right, so we've got everyone lined back up. Pack advantage going to Saskatchewan.
Looks like we have a symbol. We may have, it's not quite ready to get back to it yet. I see the referees maybe making a official timeout, so it looks like they're going to clarify a few things, maybe making sure the EMTs are ready and all. Because it looks like they were still coming back from the bench. So Hal, as you can see in front of us, was asking for them to hold on just to make sure everything's okay, that the EMTs are ready for gameplay. Which is always good, because a lot of times that happens where you're like, oh, hey, the skater's off. We're all ready to start. It's like, no, the EMTs need to be ready, because if anything else happens, they need to jump back into action.
All right, so we've got the 5-second call there. Maryland with 2 blockers sitting in the penalty box right now.
All right, so that looks like that was a knockoff by the Maryland Jammer. Unfortunately, they're chasing the game 10 points down right now, so Saskatchewan willing to be patient.
It's a little bit of a Jammer pullback here.
So it looks like we must have had somebody in Q, General Chaos, reporting to the box, and nothing's really been going on in the jam.
You know, this is smart here by Philadelphia. Just you push Nemesis out of bounds, you force her to back up, and basically you just burn that penalty time.
Correct, that was great.
Worked so well for Philadelphia, because now out picking up lead Jammer for Maryland.
Yes, but still more confusions. Oh, that's Rexy Dangerfield holding the inside line up in front all by her lonesome. Now Quesadilla, or that's Philadelphia, I apologize, now trying to work around the outside. So that was great. So those numbers came back. They did capitalize on them numbers, getting that lead Jammer. Now looking to finish the scoring pass. Lucretia McEvil getting a knock on the blocker and her own Jammer. And right in front of us, we see Hal, the coach, giving the keep on going. They want to trust the Jammer this time. Hope that defense can do something.
We've got Nemesis out there wearing the star for Saskatchewan. First time in this game.
Scoring points. That was 4 points put up by Nemesis. So first time out there, but Now able to score. Taking a knock to the inside. That was Cakes giving the shot to Philadelphia, and Philadelphia having to call it off.
All right, so it looks like 3 points on the, or a total of 6 points, 3 points in that last pass for Maryland. That's going to bring them to 64 points. 4 points on the board for Nemesis, bringing Saskatchewan to 72.
Now, 8 points once again separating these two teams. Very close matchup. So we've got Saskatchewan choosing to set up in the back. Maryland out in the front, starting to glide back. Oh, I thought she got around on the inside there.
I know, so close, but good awareness there by Nikki Fury, being knocked to the inside, coming back in, and subsequently knocked to the outside of the front stretch. In the meantime, we've got Quesadiva, lead jammer for Team Maryland, on a scoring pass right now. 1 to beat out of turn 2. She does so. That'll be 4 points.
Nikki Fury rips off the helmet cover. Right now dealing with Marvy Lust and Rexy Dangerfield in the back. Getting out in the front due to good blocking from friends. It looks like star pass on the Saskatchewan side.
Quesadiva with the call off.
Yeah, Bellicose Blonde took the star, able to get free, put the pressure on to get that jam called off.
All right, so a total of 6 points from Quesadiva. That's going to bring Maryland to 70. Saskatchewan held scoreless, 72, 16 minutes left to go.
Yeah, and other than a couple of them big jams, which are only in like 16 points or so, we haven't seen the really huge jams, and right there was a good use of that star pass to shut that jam down pretty quickly. All right, General Chaos in the back there, getting ready to take on Joe. Joe did one of those things I really like to see, is very patiently making sure the defense is fully set before taking off, and did get lead jammer status. Now General Chaos trying to run down the back of the jammer in front.
Yeah, Joe has been really good for Saskatchewan, picking up a lead jammer.
All right, Joe into the pack, calls it off. General Chaos came in, picking up 1 point, but 3 points by Joe.
Yeah, so we've got Saskatchewan still holding on to that lead, 76 to 71.
Yeah, definitely a good job there getting into the pack. I thought they were going to shut it down just a little bit earlier, but 3 points were scored. Looks like we got coach from Maryland, Hal, out in the center talking about something, and now we have the referees going over to the scoring table. So just as we expected, no real big jams jumping out. Okay, maybe 2 passes, but things are pretty under control so far, and it looks like the penalty box still has another Maryland skater in it. It's kind of been kind of consistent so far the second half.
Yeah, Maryland there within the, I mean, we're only in 4 jams, but had that one jam where they were just full, their box was full of blockers.
Well, unfortunately, in the
2 in
first
there,
half,
1
they
waiting.
had one blocker unfortunately go out, and that was one of the main jammers the day before. Tiger now no longer in the game. Too many penalties. It's hard to see in a half. You know, those things happen, but sometimes things, you get into quicksand, no matter what you do, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Now both teams have to get settled after this half. Now we're just getting into things now. General Chaos still out there. And that's Nikki Fury back out there. Nikki Fury having a heck of a game so far for Saskatchewan. And that's Quesadiva. I did say General Chaos. I apologize. Crouch down. Quesadiva out there for Team Maryland.
Nikki Fury trying to push her way through. Marvin Delos. Dewa, rather.
Yeah, D-Wall and Marvy Lust. Marvy Lust got the multiplayer call. Now there's only 2 blockers remaining on the floor at the moment for Team Maryland. Carisha McGeevil jumps onto the track. Quesadiva took the star off the helmet. Ooh, dump to the outside. Awkward sort of fall. And she is down actually on the back stretch. Quesadiva is now back up on the skates. The EMTs ran out onto the track. She's looks to be favoring her right leg in some portion, but able to make it back to the bench. Physical toll in this game, it looks like so far. Skaters are definitely feeling it. So once again, 8 points separating these two teams with 14:26 to go there, Alota.
All right. Pterodactyl was in a pretty heavy jammer rotation for Saskatchewan in the first half. First time showing up here in the second.
Philadelphia able to find a hold, gets out very quickly. General Chaos throwing a big shoulder. But Saskatchewan able to get free from the pack.
Philadelphia 2 for 2, picking up lead jammer privilege in the second half here.
Very quick footwork, but no, it was deemed a cut track. She hopped in very quickly. I was surprised to see how fast she got on the track, but to no avail. Cut track going to Philadelphia. Power jam.
Pterodactyl.
Maryland's
Slow.
trying to get locked up there,
Yeah.
but you see that offense by Saskatchewan, just keeping them just separated enough.
Yep. Yeah, it seems for the most part that if the pack moves outside of that turn 1 area, that's when things tend to fall apart with that really cohesive Maryland defense.
Marvy Lust with a big hit there, dragging back Pterodactyl. Unfortunately, Marvy Lust went out too, but Pterodactyl playing it safe, going all the way to the back.
Philadelphia out of the penalty box.
So it looks like we have a star pass on the Saskatchewan side. It looks like passed it over to number 40, that's Nemesis. So that was lead jammer, so that now we're going to run the full 2 minutes. Root Elicious throwing a shoulder into Nemesis. Nemesis shrugs it off.
Yep. So we've got no pass, no penalty there in that move there for Nemesis.
Right here on the side, you saw Shell on Earth throw a big shot into Marv, and then Marv hit the jammer by accident. Friendly fire indirectly there.
All right, so it looks like with 6 points on the board so far for Saskatchewan, Maryland now answering with 4 points.
Jam comes to conclusion. Saskatchewan, once they got that lead at the end of the half, haven't relinquished. They're able to stay strong, fighting off all the pushes right now coming from Maryland, but Maryland needs to try to keep skaters on the floor if they want to make a run at this. Saskatchewan has been actually very clean this second half so far. And I guess the name of the game is numbers. The more numbers out there, the harder it is to push, the harder it is to get through that pack.
All right, so it looks like we've got an official timeout right now.
It looks like they're talking with the scoring table, so they're figuring out whatever's going on. Meanwhile, we have a timeout. Let's give a shout out right now. A big shout out to Bucksmont Roller Derby Dolls for hosting Battle of the All-Stars. I mentioned them earlier. Also give a shout out to our tournament organizer and founder, Vanessa V. Diva Sites, the game tournament oversight, Rhea Culpa, tournament head referee, Axis of Stevel, tournament head NSO, Coconuts Channel.
Chanel, yeah, Coconuts Chanel.
Sorry. Thank you very much. As soon as I said it, I'm like, that doesn't sound right. All right, back to the action. That's Juka Windsor in the back from Maryland. And that is 1-1-1-1. Joe back out there. Joe having good jam earlier. Once again out as lead jammer.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 for 3 in the second half for Joe.
Joe looks like the secret sauce for Saskatchewan.
Spinning around, trying to keep those toes in bounds there on turn 3. Unable to do so. Recycled very minimally.
Saskatchewan looking to keep it going there.
Yeah.
Coming down, you saw Joe looking backwards. But it's funny, Joe was carrying so much momentum, was just a little tiny knock, and it had to force the spin to get out.
So we've got Duke of Windsor here in the front stretch.
Yeah, driving on this well-coordinated 3 brace here in the front. Maryland throwing shoulders into Joe. Joe on the ground saying, I'm calling it, right here in front of the camera.
Right, I know it's hard to see me down here.
Yeah, it looked like they were looking at the action, not down at the jammer. But a little scream, make sure your jam ref knows.
Sure, sure. So 7 points on the board this time around for Joe, bringing Saskatchewan to 95. 3 points on the board from Duke of Windsor is going to bring Maryland to 81. 10.5 minutes left to go.
So right now we actually got 2 blockers in the box. We were just mentioning Saskatchewan's been very clean. Right now, 2 blockers in the box, only 2 left out on the track as a result. We'll see what their jammer can do. All 4 blockers out there for Team Maryland.
Philadelphia for Maryland. And it looks like Nikki Fury being sent to the penalty box for a cut before she even made it to turn 2.
Yeah, just about to say, hey, free from the pack, taking advantage. The cut track was called. Maryland able to break up the 2 blockers on the backside. So that's a quick 4-point pass for Philadelphia.
You know, Philadelphia able to put up a multi-scoring passes in a jam where there's 2 jammers out there. So when we've just got 1, we've got 4 points on the board so far. Looks like a second scoring pass.
Yeah, you saw a coach from Team Maryland out there requesting to shut that jam down. So I guess they're looking to take advantage of maybe a power jam. But now I see Nikki Fury released from the box. So now might be worth keeping that thing going, seeing where it goes. Unfortunately, maybe the timing just off.
Yep.
So Saskatchewan capitalizes. They're able to get back onto track with the jammer, and the penalty box is now empty.
Yeah, and they're still, you know, even after an 8-point jam from Philadelphia right there, during a power jam, it's Saskatchewan still in the lead, 95-89.
Yeah, shutting that jam down a little late may cost them, but now Maryland's just got a little more work to do. Rexy Dangerfield jumps to the front and then just cleaned out on the inside. That's the Terrylizer. I know it's Terrylizer, but I like Terry because it's a perfect name.
All right, so Rexy out in front, picking up lead jammer. Pterodactyl not even out of turn 1 yet, being backed up to the jammer line.
Quesadiva with the arms up, got the knockout, dragging back Pterodactyl.
All right, so this scoring pass here from Rexy, if she completes it, would be a lead change. We've got Pterodactyl out in front. Let's see what Rexy was able to put on with that last pass. So 1 point, 2 points. All right, there we go. Those 6 points total from Rexy brings it to a tie game, 95-95. Second jam held scoreless for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, definitely. Always tricky when you have your jam ref give the devil horns side by side. You can't see them lined up, but no, that was definitely 2 points. So Saskatchewan has not given up the lead since half.
All right, we've got Joe out there for Saskatchewan, who is fantastic at picking up lead jammer privilege for her team.
Earning that privilege very regularly.
And, you know, she's taking on all 4 blockers for Maryland right now. But, you know, the pack is going to break. They're going to have to fall back. Joe's just got 2, now 1, and Joe's picking up lead once again for Saskatchewan.
Able to outlast. And look at that recycle from Saskatchewan. It looks like it's just taken up a notch. They were back all the way down the back stretch. That urgency is what makes the difference, and you can see right now that urgency is making it. Marvelous going back. I'll wait and see. Was there a cut track?
Looks like whatever's happening is being assessed there to
So I think they
Marv.
called a cut track, but Marv had caused a penalty first, so then they called Joe back on the track. Unfortunately, the confusion lost a little bit of time there for Joe, but Joe coming back around.
Yeah, maybe lost a little bit of time, but did not lose lead jammer privilege. There was no confusion in that. Better to lose a couple of seconds and figure it out in the moment than to have that lead jammer privilege taken away from you and then have to get back onto the track.
Capitalizing with that lead jammer privilege. Joe, one more time, strikes for 4. Stars off the helmet there. Philadelphia sent to the inside, but the Stars already handed off to General Chaos. Joe on the knees calling it off.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like I see some points up on the board for Maryland. So it looks like a total of 3 points are going up on the board for Maryland at this point. That's going to bring them to 98. But we've got 9 points on the board for Joe.
So we'll wait and see what happens. It looked like Marvy Lush just came back to the box or benches requesting all the stuff. It looks like she will no longer be part of this game. So penalties starting to pile up for Team Maryland.
And, you know, with 6 minutes left to go, it's kind of it can be a long time when you're, you know, we've already lost Tiger. Now, you know, we've lost another Maryland skater.
Marvin Luss, one of the physical defenders there for Maryland. But right now, when you're chasing the game, you need your numbers. Sitting with a 6-point differential right now. Maryland 98, Saskatchewan 104, 6:10 to go. Six minutes, especially when it's a 40-minute game, is a lot of time. This could be a difference between Saskatchewan getting a run and finishing it out, or Maryland being able to eat into it and figure out how to lock things down.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we must say it is an official review right now.
I would just like to let Saskatchewan know that I am biting my nails on your behalf. So trust me, I am very much invested in this game. I love how Saskatchewan has come in at the tail end of that first half.
Yes.
With that huge jam there, the highest scoring jam so far, 16 points put up by Joe. And then they have just held on to the lead here in the second half. Maryland has definitely tested them, at a couple of times, right to the point where it was a tie. But then again, Joe comes back, sees that tie and says, okay, that's fine. I'm going to answer with 9 points, and I'm going to bring it away.
Yeah, there's definitely something saying get in the lead and then be able to maintain it. All right, we'll wait and find out some more about the official review. Maryland seems a little happy about it. All right, we'll get you the official review after this jam. Back to the action right now. Looks like Nikki Fury dumped to the inside. Rexy Dangerfield goes out.
All right, that's Rexy Dangerfield picking up lead jammer for Maryland. Nikki Fury taking it to the outside of turn 1, not finding much space there. Rexy Dangerfield comes out pretty fast in turn 2, 1 to beat, and that's 4 points on the board for Maryland.
Yeah, Maryland defense looking a little more organized this jam. You got Quesadiva on the outside there and getting another knockout.
We've got a star pass from Nikki Fury off to number 476, Bella Coast Blonde.
Well, the star pass was slick enough. It caught me not paying attention, caught Quesadiva not paying attention, got free. But right now, what do we have?
Man, that's a big 8-point answer there from the Maryland All-Stars. It's a lead change. Maryland 106, Saskatchewan 104. 5 minutes left to go.
Yeah, most definitely. That was a big opportunity, and they capitalized. Meanwhile, both jammers on the track. Typically, power jams have been a big thing in the second half, being able to capitalize. That was a straight-up honest jam, able to get 2 passes and calling it off.
But again, I think Maryland was able to hold Nikki Fury, right here in turn 1, turn 2. And if they can keep it together in turn 1, turn 2, then they're going to hold whoever they've got. Meanwhile, we've got Dame Tamer wearing the star for the first time for Saskatchewan out in front, picking up, completing an initial.
And then just got a scoring pass there. Now, meanwhile, the star was passed on the Maryland side. General Chaos taking it from Fatal Faux Pas. General Chaos knocked down in turn 3 there. Able to get free.
All right, so points on the board for Chaos. We've got Dame Tamer through for an additional 4 points before calling it off.
And that's another lead change now, 112, 110. We got an exciting finish to this. The day has started. And this game is just screeching to a conclusion here.
My goodness.
Punch for punch going back and forth. We can't ask for much more, but once again, you see 2 skaters standing out there on the track for Team Maryland. Numbers game not working in their favor. They got a lot to do right now. 4-on-2 advantage going to Saskatchewan.
With Joe wearing the star for Saskatchewan.
And you just knew it had to come. Joe's been so consistent. You know the coach wanted to go right back to Joe, and Joe does what Joe does. Lead jammer status.
Yeah, lead jammer like it's nothing in the second half. Philadelphia is down with the star in hand. Well-timed hit by Lucretia McEvil, taking Joe to the outside of turn 2 with a big backup.
Getting reset, that's Brutylicious and Lucretia McEvil trying to slow up Joe. Philadelphia trying to work to the front of the pack. Meanwhile, once again knocked out. Team Maryland able to bottle up Joe for a little bit here. Something that's been a tough job all game long.
So we've got Joe with lead jammer privilege in the midst of the pack there, rolling into turn 2. Turn around, she'll call it after picking up 3 additional points. Saskatchewan's gonna keep the lead there, 115 to 110, 2.5 minutes left to go.
But Team Maryland there, defense stiffening. Able to get the jammer out very early, but able to hold him only 3 points and basically killed another 20 to 30 seconds on that jam to finally get killed off via free and come back around. So intensity ratcheting up in this game as we're coming down with 2 minutes and 30-some seconds to go. Whew. Timeout by Maryland. Going to get one more breather here and see if they can bring this conclusion. Meanwhile, Saskatchewan already out on the track having some good discussions. See the coach coming out now to talk to the team Saskatchewan.
We're going to start this one with a slight pack advantage for Maryland.
So it looks like some of the Saskatchewan skaters coming up and you see they're asking, what is this Sprinkle Sprinkle Old Bay? If you're not familiar with Maryland, it's known for 2 big things. One is crabs, Chesapeake Bay crabs, and also for Old Bay seasoning, which is sort of a spicy, sort of interesting New England style seasoning. That's we put it on everything. You get Maryland crab fries, you get everything, Old Bay everything.
I remember one of the first times I went through BWI and saw this giant can of Old Bay as a photo op. I'm like, this is the best thing ever.
It's an interesting sort of spicy seasoning a lot of times. If you haven't had it before, it's just something you got to try. But right now, getting a knockout, Dame Tamer knocked to the outside. Meanwhile, Rexy Dangerfield struggling to deal with that defense right now by Saskatchewan. Knocked to the outside. Oh, and look at him racing back. The intensity up for Saskatchewan. Rexy Dangerfield just big ping-ponging around in the back.
That just saw that opening on the inside of the front stretch, and Rexy Dangerfield took it, picking up that coveted lead jammer privilege, which is going to be so important as we're coming into, we're now under 2 minutes on the period clock, and just 5 points separating the two teams.
All right, right now, big shot again into Rexy Dangerfield. Rexy Dangerfield keeping the jam going. Oh, and a forearm call. Interesting.
Dame Tamer being sent to the penalty box.
I was wondering why they were keeping it going. Now the opportunity's great. Power jam sitting, but Rex turns around, giving a little look to her blockers. There's only 2 of them back out on the track.
Yep.
Want to have the blockers out there for this power jam, but right now numbers in advantage for Saskatchewan. Now they choose to sit back and let Rexy do the work by the lonesome.
40 seconds left to go on the jam clock, a minute 10 on.
Lucretia McEvil came out of the box trying to knock some blockers down. Stopped to see how the blocker was doing, who she actually made contact in the back, got a back block call. Star has been passed.
Yeah.
That's Quesadiva with the star now.
All right, with 3 points on the board, that's going to bring Maryland to 113, Saskatchewan 115.
Quesadiva trying to go big with a big apex jump, but makes contact with a blocker. D-Wall, last line defense in the front for Team Maryland, trying to slow up Dame Tamer. Has to let her go.
And Dame Tamer, that is a point-scoring pass there, so 4 points on the board is going to bring Saskatchewan to 119. We've got about 30 seconds left to go on the period clock.
Maryland has no more timeouts.
So we're waiting for those last couple of Maryland points to come up on the board, but it looks like 4 points for Saskatchewan, 119. 5 points on the board will bring Maryland to 115. 4-point game. We're coming into the last 10 seconds of
So it looks like we have time for one more jam right now, I believe. Let's check. Oh, the clocks just changed. Something just happened with the clocks. We'll make sure there's a timeout. It looked like there was enough time left, and then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of time just cleared from the game clock. So we'll wait and get clarification.
And it looks like we might, looks like Maryland may have lost an additional blocker here.
Lucretia McEvil now looks like leaving the track.
Yep, so we've got a skater taking her place in the penalty box. So this what will certainly be the last jam of this
Saskatchewan
game.
making some noise, banging on the hockey boards. They got their Canadian flag. They also got the Saskatchewan flag over there. They're fired up. Maryland trying to match them with their own chance. And you see that the crowd's starting to finally get into it. You see a lot of people roaming around, hands going up. I think we're really starting to get this thing kicked off here. First day is always, you have a few games, people are getting a feel for it, but I think today is coming to, oh man, this is going to be exciting. One more jam to rule them all.
What we can see now is we've got Joe on the line for Saskatchewan, who is 100% lead jammer privilege when it comes to this second half. Whether she finds an open, easy path through the pack or she fights for it, she's picking up a lead jammer.
Yeah, Maryland choosing to give a little extra space, sitting up at the pivot line. General chaos out there for Team Maryland. Runs to the inside, unfortunately runs into her own blocker, D-Wall.
All right, it looks like Joe picks up lead jammer privilege, but a little confusion there in the moment. She gets it, she calls it off.
Skating
0-0.
backwards,
I know.
keeping an eye on her blockers, calls
All
it
right,
off.
So unofficial, we've got Saskatchewan at 119, Maryland at 115. This has been a fantastic game.
It has, right down to the final jam. Saskatchewan pulling off their first win at Battle of the All-Stars, and they are fired up.
Ready to go.
Yeah, Team Maryland here, got to be proud of what they did. They put a heck of a game on, pushed them to the limit, very last jam. Oof, Alota, that was awesome. And just think, we have a handful more games today and 2 whole more days to go after this.
I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to seeing Saskatchewan taking on, it looks like Virginia.
The winner takes on Virginia.
Yeah, yep, who was victorious today over Vermont. And then Maryland will go on to play, I believe, at 9 p.m. tonight.
Okay, we'll wait and get that clarification, but Virginia's going to be a tall task. Saskatchewan pulls this one out. I think they're going to have to keep their late game cranked up like it is right now. So many smiles on the track. We'll wait and find out what's going on with the MVPs.
All right, so we've got Saskatchewan taking their victory lap. What a hard-earned victory. What a pleasure to watch this team come in and just take the lead at the very end of the second half and then really keep it through the second. A lot of push by Maryland, but
yeah, that's a sign of a strong team and being mentally focused, able to just hold that lead. They took it. They took a whole bunch of shots, but they kept the lead, kept moving forward, and it sealed out the game. I mean, what can you say? Final jam, they earned it all by their lonesome, shut it down just in time, not allowing anything to happen.
All right, so we'll be working on getting the MVPs from both teams in just a couple of minutes, and then I believe we're going to have the interviews as we do after each game. So Tom and I will be back in just a few minutes.
All right, welcome back. Battle of the All-Stars 2019, Team Maryland MVP, Case Diva. How does it feel to have an impact on a game? We saw you jamming, we saw you pivoting and playing strong blocking. What do you feel helped that team down the stretch? You guys held yourself into the game after taking a good shot going into half.
I mean, I think we're not a team that skates a lot together. I mean, as all the teams are here. And I think the fact that yesterday was kind of our regrouping, figuring out who works well together, and we really kind of focused on that last night as far as paying attention to, hey, who am I really responsive with, and like making sure we had verbal communication and just overall making sure that we're here because we love the sport. And this isn't D1, this is purely fun. We want to kind of unite in roller derby and show all the states that we care and we're here and we want to have fun. And what roller derby is all about, which is empowerment, and I feel like that's what we really lived up to on the track today.
Yeah, Maryland's always such a fun team. You guys have so much fun. You're sprinkling the Old Bay everywhere. What is Maryland most known for that everybody out there needs to know?
I think our cheer, our enthusiasm. I don't know. We like to have a good time. Again, we're all about derby. Derby is fun. Derby is about empowering others, and I think that was kind of my main goal going into it. I wanted to remember why I love this sport, and that definitely came through in this game in particular. But this whole weekend, we're going on to play more, and we're thrilled about it. We can't wait to meet other teams, gain new experiences, skate against some of our idols from other states that we don't normally get to play against. So it's pretty rad.
All right, that's great. Once again, Case Diva MVP Team Maryland, thank you for all you do. We look to see you playing again later today.
Yes, we're very excited. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is A Load of Sarcasm. I'm here with Joe from Team Saskatchewan, who not only won MVP of this game, but also MVP of my Derby Love and Heart today. Congratulations. So tell us about this game. How did it feel?
It was so much fun. The other team was very positive and good to play against. It was very fast, hard-hitting, had to be quick, always on our toes, trying to get out of there. Yep.
And you, like, no surprise, when you look at the numbers and the way the stats play out, it's no surprise you picked up MVP because your lead jammer stats were through the roof, and that big 16-point jam in the end of the first half to switch things up, take the lead, and then not give it back. How did that feel?
Really, really good. It makes me miss that jammer lap point a little bit, but overall, just really great, just riding the high the whole game. Yep. Sorry, I can keep talking. Team Saskatchewan has always been really great to play with. This is my first year full with them, so we've had a couple of games and really had to come in with this and, you know, show them what we had. Yep.
Well, you know what? Not only the MVP of this past game, but also the MVP of this interview. While I have a coughing fit, you just carried it for me. So thanks so much. I look forward to seeing what you can do tomorrow.
Awesome. I'm really looking forward to it after a couple beers and watching some more high-caliber derby.
All right, take care. Thanks so much.
All right, everybody, you know the drill here. I'm going to stop the stream for a second, and then I'll restart it just so we can go back and find this game earlier. So don't go anywhere if you're listening in right now. Don't move. Stay where you are. Tennessee and Texas are coming up. Just going to stop the stream for 1 second.